7 days ago, 50 strangers arrived in Canada during the first leg of Fantasy RV Tour's Maritime Tour. And now, a quarter of the way into their month-long pilgrimage across 4 Atlantic provinces, these RVers have gone from timid travelers just towing the line to a roving tribe of compatible adventurers and fellow food lovers riding the Atlantic breeze together toward their next East Coast encounter. First-time visitors, Aaron and Chris, have now been properly seasoned by the region's signature salty mist, nearly swallowed up by its living tides, and have come to accept that lobster can easily be had here for just about every meal. They've witnessed loads of surprises so far, and rather than risk missing out on any of these highlights, the couple made sure to make the most out of every marine-themed mile by embracing Fantasy's expertise along these coastal shores.
We'll have up to 50 different guests, and all 50 of those people are all going to have a different experience on the tour. So that's part of what we do, is making sure that everybody is included. Everybody's having a good time. For some, it's super easy because they're going to jump in and they want to be the star and have everybody flock to them. Others, they're a little bit more timid, a little bit more shy, and it takes more to open them up. But they do, and by the end, everybody is at their comfort level with everybody else. A lot of people, you can really watch guests really blossom along the tour.
Yeah, that's what I really love to see, is how everybody is a stranger, and by the end, they've all come together and they're exchanging phone numbers and emails and addresses, and that so that they can get together again in the future.
Beginning with the forgotten corners of New Brunswick, the tour started off soft-spoken and soaked in history. The roads were quiet, the forests deep, and the occasional ghost story added to its mysterious setting. Now, as RVs roll across an invisible border into Nova Scotia, leaving fog-draped mornings in the rear view, the mist burns off to reveal a province that simply can't hide in the shadows. With over 8,000 miles of coastline, this sea-bound peninsula doesn't just whisper its secrets, it sings them aloud, turning the energy way up as it leans a little further into the sea. Immediately, the journey shifts from introspective to electric, with towns that display their history like vibrant tattoos full of pigment and pride, a waterfront that dances with tall ships, and the scenic road that suddenly hums to a different kind of tune. It's clear, we came here to celebrate. With fantasy-branded rigs all situated at their latest oceanfront campground, the festivities begin just steps away from the sparkling Bay of Fundy, whose tides now feed a different kind of shoreline. Here, the coast is a shaky scribble of tightly notched harbors and bays in which every sunset is a private screening. It's no wonder this haven is home to what's said to be the most fought-over piece of land in all of North America. From indigenous roots to French settlers and English invaders, the tour arranges an opportunity to travel back 4 centuries at several historic sites, including the Citadel, where kilted Highlanders patrol the grounds like it's still the 1860s. Port Royal, a full-scale reconstruction of a 17th century colony, and Fort Anne, a sturdy stronghold maintained to showcase military architecture and recount the cultural significance of ancient battles that took place over this prime land. Time unravels, passing through timbered rooms and storehouses where the smell of gunpowder still lingers to ignite the imagination. Rolling green earthworks display cannons like old soldiers still guarding the now peaceful waterfront. And the sea air pairs well with freshly baked strudel and crusty sourdough from a nearby local bakery. Following this stroll through history, it's a short drive from calm colonial ruins to a buzzing bohemian harbor as the tour sails south, bringing guests face to face with the soul of this province. A time capsule of candy-colored heritage homes collide with a modern-day fishing community that has shipbuilding excellence ingrained into every wooden vessel. In particular, the iconic Blue Nose, a timeless legend detailed at the Fisheries Museum located just a bit further along the wharf.
So on a fantasy tour, we build in free time at every location. And I think that's important because at the end of the day, this is your vacation. And we want you to do what you want to do on your vacation. Of course, we're going to have planned events and activities.
Everybody needs some time to rest.
Go out and maybe spend a few more hours at a location we were at. Once we have gotten you an admission somewhere, typically that admission is good for the rest of the day and often the very next day too. So when you have free time, you can go back and enjoy yourselves even more.
Craig and Lucinda are the perfect example of independent travelers who take full advantage of fantasy's flexible approach, welcoming structure when it's wanted and spontaneity when the spirit of adventure strikes.
The independence is probably one of the most important aspects to me. So being able to go off and find the landscapes or landmarks or other people on my own or on our own, we find that to be probably one of the most enjoyable aspects because they give you days where you can spend the whole day doing it. Or if you just need to recharge, that day can be used for the two of you doing whatever you want, whether it be laundry or going out and eating at restaurants you want. They don't tell you where to go eat or what to do. They give you a list of some of the locals, or you can experience them on your own. Just stop in. And I would say we've always seen the best parts of these communities by doing it this way versus flying over them and getting with another large group of people that you never really get to know.
While the fantasy itinerary fills its days full to the brim with local flavors and behind-the-scene gems, the finest beauty can be found in the freedom. Many suggestions are optional and give RVers the choice to chase their curiosity by circling back to a special lobster shack, browsing a nearby farmer's market, or returning to that one lighthouse that's on every maritime traveler's map of must-sees.
I remember was going back to Peggy's Cove. The weather was terrible. It was fogged in when we went with a tour group, but we went back on our own to Peggy's Cove and at sunset or near sunset, and the crowd was basically gone. It was all beautiful pictures and just memories that you're burned into your brain because you did it on your own and didn't give up on it.
You've got your RV and you're trying to figure out where to go. Now what? RV trip planning can be overwhelming. But if you think about it in terms of 1 or 2 major destinations and then filling in the trip in between, it might go a little bit simpler. You can do this by researching places that you want to stop and see, consider recommendations given to you by other people, and whether or not you're going to want to stop and see any friends or family along the way. You're also going to then want to think about where you're actually going to stay as far as campgrounds or overnight parking spots. If you have any campground memberships or clubs that you're a part of that get you discounts on certain campgrounds, you're going to want to add that to your planning. You're also going to want to see if there's any free overnight spots. So if you're driving long days and you just need a quick place to stop, where might you be able to stay? When it comes to actually finding these campsites and parking spots, there are lots of different apps and websites out there that help you find a camp spot that is going to suit your needs and fit your particular rig. If you're part of a campground membership, you can also look into their directories. Once you've identified all the campgrounds that you're going to want to stay in along your route and near your points of interest, you're going to want to get this all organized. We recommend using a map software, using atlases and other books to identify and mark your route, and maybe even drop them into a simple spreadsheet to keep your dates and reservations all organized. There are even some specific RV travel planning apps that you can use to make this process much smoother. Now, sometimes you might want to really plan ahead and book out your entire RV trip, especially in national parks, or if there's a really big popular event going on, you're going to want to think about that months in advance before you make your reservation. On the flip side, you might want to work in some flexibility to your travel planning. If you book everything up completely, it doesn't really give you much wiggle room to go explore somewhere that you learn about from your camping neighbor. This is why so many people enjoy boondocking, because you don't have to make reservations and there's still a lot of really great places to camp. Now that you've got the basics down for planning your RV trip, you better start packing. You've had a long travel day and you're just arriving at your campground, but it's dark out.
Now what?
Ideally, you would like to arrive at your campground while it's still light out and before the park closes.
But that's not always possible depending on your travel. Sometimes you just have to go too far to be able to make it there before it's dark. Or maybe you hit delays due to traffic or bad weather or even construction.
If you can't avoid arriving to your campground in the dark, there are several things that you can do to make it go a little bit more smoothly.
For instance, you're going to want to make sure that you're aware of the fact that there could be some hazards to arriving after dark. For example, tree branches or other low clearance obstacles could be more difficult to spot. It can be hard enough backing into a site as it is, but not being able to see things in your mirrors or your backup camera because there's just not enough ambient light around you is just making it that much harder.
The very first thing you should do is call ahead to the campground and let them know that you will be arriving late. Even if you're going to be after hours, they can provide guidance to you over the phone of how to navigate to your site, where you're going to find your check-in paperwork, and overall help with that whole process.
Some places prefer that you not arrive after dark because of difficulties navigating or because they want to make sure that you're checked in completely before getting to your site.
While you're on the phone with them, you can also take the opportunity to ask for a pull-through site to make the whole process much easier. They can also alert you to park quiet hours so that you can be respectful of your new neighbors.
Another option is to just delay your arrival time itself. If you know that you're not going to be able to make it to your campground until after dark, maybe you'll make a pit stop somewhere in between so that you can actually arrive the next day during the daylight.
When you are pulling into the campground in the dark, you're going to want to make sure that you have flashlights ready, that you turn on your external floodlights so that you have as much light as possible, and make sure you've got radios for communications.
Now, if arriving after dark is something that you do very regularly, maybe because you can't leave for your trip until after work on a Friday, then you might want to make sure that you install some extra lights on the outside of your RV in order to have some additional visibility.
While arriving in the dark can have its downsides, there are plenty of things that you can do ahead of time to be prepared and help things go smoothly.
After a series of weathered waterfront harbors, the city of Halifax makes a big impact. And while it's actually Nova Scotia's smallest region, the capital is a vibrant mix of culture, landmarks, and numerous attractions where 1 minute you might be exploring interactive exhibits.
Do people do this in real life?
And the next, you're elbows deep in fried haddock. So rather than winging it along these busy, narrow streets, the Fantasy crew swaps their RV keys for a bus tour to fully navigate the city's complicated charm.
The tour bus that we're on is really fun. It's something we've never done before, and it's cool to just be on a massive bus with these great big windows. You can see everything outside from the comfortability of inside, and best yet is I don't have to drive, so that's great. And our tour guide is sharing things that we would never ever know or look up, just regarding the history of the city, fun facts about the city, people coming to visit, some things about the architecture of the homes. There's some really impressive hotels that we've seen. And it's something that, like I said, we've never done, but so far I'm really enjoying it.
From a hilltop fortress to quiet rows of gravestones, along with museums where stories of heroism are bottled in glass cases and suspended hulls. Guests absorb the sights while taking the opportunity to make mental notes of stops to revisit. As each outing complements the next, an effortless flow between experiences may seem natural, but it's deliberately designed by the team's skillful balance of information with entertainment, all bundled into an immersive, one-of-a-kind backstage pass.
So we've done a few excursions that we've had that are exclusive to Fantasy RV tours. We get behind-the-scenes tours in a lot of the museums.
I was going to mention the Atlantic Fisheries Museum there and the Maritime Museum. Those are both behind-the-scene guided tours that you're not going to get if you go there on your own. It's all in the package.
While this area is made for wandering boardwalks and beaches, maritime weather is something of a wild card, flip-flopping between soaking up sunshine and sprinting for cover. Luckily, when a rogue rainstorm sabotages any sightseeing for the day, Fantasy flips the script by cranking up the competition with a spirited tournament of card games and root beer floats to fuel the fun.
The number 4 of spades. 4 of spades. 1, 2, or 3. Number 3.
Wow. How about that?
Twice in a row, what can I say?
Wow.
Awesome.
That's some luck there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The wagon masters have been excellent on this trip, no doubt about it, and the tail gunners as well. They're very personable and friendly.
I believe it's an anniversary today. It's actually tomorrow, but we're all together today. So, 1, 2, 3. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to Jim and Michelle. Happy anniversary to you.
The excitement that they show is unbelievable because they've done this many, many times, and you would think it would be boring, but it's not to them.
Just your friendly neighborhood bartender.
So as a wagon master, you're responsible for the overall tour, but you're really a wagon master's job is to coordinate with all of their guests and make sure all the guests have a great time. You know, of course, there's planning and coordinating that's going on behind the scenes, but you were there just as a leader to bring everybody together.
What's really amazing is when we do tours and we have repeat guests that have been on a tour with us before, and yeah, we just love it.
Certainly there's freedom in the open road, but there's also comfort in knowing that you have all of the support when it's needed, and none of the stress about getting lost or booking a suspicious place to spend the night. Leave it to a trustworthy team to reserve the sweetest spots and scout out all of the routes to determine which RV parks are magic and which detours are dead ends. As these phenomenal forces at work spend significant time getting to know each location in order to make a place we've never been before feel both familiar and brand new at the same time.
I've had a lot of guests tell me that they really appreciate the fact that they're traveling in a group. RVers always tend to be friendly, but when you're on a fantasy tour and we're helping to facilitate that bonding, one of the things that people have said is it's nice. So if somebody needs an extra extension of hose to dump or a cord to plug into electricity or whatever, then they know that somebody in the group is willing to help with that. They like being able to travel together. So we are in the lead, so if there's a new road hazard that we haven't already briefed, then we can relay that back to the group so they're expecting it and can avoid it. And then the tail gunner's leaving last and ensuring that everybody makes it safely to the next campground.
If something happens on our journey from campground to campground, because life happens, and sometimes things break, they're gonna come up behind you and they're gonna help you find the solution to get you back on the road again. And it's a critical role on a fantasy tour.
That's mainly the reason I think we decided to do that. And I'm glad we did it, because we traveled a lot on our own, but going out of the country, so to speak, you know, through Canada and all, we felt like we'd be better to go in a group. We felt safer about it, you know.
And you feel very safe in these campgrounds that Fantasy chooses, and they try to make them the best that there are in the area. Very well organized and an easy, convenient way to have a wonderful trip without having to worry about very much. I mean, you could have a situation where something might go wrong, but you're with a bunch of people that usually you can find a way to bush fix it and get going, you know? And that's the nice thing about being in a team environment. You've got all types of talents of different people.
By now, the talents on this trip have established a solid rhythm as a group that keeps the good times on tap and encourages everyone to share in each other's enthusiasm. Having spent a week exploring what felt like the edge of the world, these companions have found themselves captivated by colors and cobblestone charm strolling through this living museum. Nevertheless, the road continues to call from across the waves. Next, Maritime RVers board a ferry that pulls them along the Atlantic, leaving behind the vivid dream of painted towns melting into the horizon. And for good reason. Newfoundland is wide awake and waiting.